You will go head over heels for this one, I promise. We're going to slip all the great highlights your way. Don't push anyone aside as we celebrate the wins. Bring a sign and I will circle you. Party with us. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. A lot to party about on tonight's show.
There was, and it was so exciting. Obviously we're there long after the crowds have filtered out at the Cardinal Stadium, most every home game. But the fact that they had to repeatedly announce that the fans needed to exit, the fans and faculty
they did not want to leave.
Exit the field so the team could do their post-game meeting. It was
How exciting was that?
It was great to have that happen, especially at a homecoming. A big win for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit, but you hear and you see the excitement at this school now with this football program. They obviously we've talked about it countless times over the years that they've had difficult winning. Three wins in a row. I can't tell you when the last time we saw that was.
No, and obviously the step down to 5A, a big part of the reason, but the confidence and the way they carry themselves has improved greatly because of that. And they go out every week knowing that they have an opportunity, and really looking at it the rest of the way, the Cardinals have an opportunity possibly to win out.
There's no question about it, and obviously they're going to take that one game at a time approach, which you definitely should. But you have to feel, over these last three games, just the 4 games. I'm sorry. Well, last 3 wins is what I meant to say.
Okay.
The confidence growing, and
absolutely.
That's really important.
Yeah, the Cardinals were definitely fired up for the big homecoming game, but they also knew coming in Irondale was probably the toughest team they'd faced so far. The Knights came in at a perfect 3-0 and outscoring opponents at an impressive rate, scoring 34.6 points per game while allowing just over 10. The Cardinals knew to be successful, they'd have to be on their game on both sides of the ball. Cardinals tore their way onto the field Friday evening, and a huge homecoming crowd was waiting for them, hoping to see the red and white win their 3rd straight. Defense coming up big early. Irondale's opening possession, 3rd and long. Matt Ammon and Miles Taylor meet at the quarterback. Cardinals had the ball for almost 9 minutes in the first quarter, and they ran it almost exclusively, even when they tried to pass. Tyler George, great awareness and elusiveness on this play, able to pick up the first down inside the Knights' 15. Second play of the second quarter. 1st and goal from the 7. Miles Taylor to the left, bullies his way to the stripe. His first score of the season, and the Cardinals are on the board first. And every point was precious in this game. Irondale answered with less than 3 minutes left in the half. Parker Freiberg punches it in from the 1, but a missed extra point meant the Cardinals kept the 7-6 edge. After a Coon Rapids 3-and-out, the Knights had a chance to score again, trying to get their big receiver the ball deep. The Cardinals are all over it. Kenny Nawachi steps up for the pick, and it's 1-point game at the half. Cardinals D came up huge against Irondale's big 3, especially receiver Aiden Price. Irondale set to get the ball to start the second half, but they completely misplay the opening kickoff. Takes a Coon Rapids bounce. Nawachi got to it first. Gant able to recover for the Cardinals, and they have it at the Irondale 22-yard line. 4th down at the 5-yard line. George out of the shotgun, shovels it to Carter Geyer underneath. He fights his way to the goal line. Geyer with 3 catches for 26 yards in the score. Cardinals take an 8-point lead into the 3rd. Early in the 3rd. Defense is controlled much of the second half, so a lot of punting. Midway through the 4th quarter, Nate Breams had his attempt blocked. Takes a perfect bounce. Irondale's Arias Sears scoops it up on the run into the end zone. Lead is down to 2. Freiberg had almost 140 yards rushing in the game, but the defense stopped him in the most important times, including the 2-point conversion attempt. Just a swarm of red there to stop him short of the stripe. Score stays 14-12. Defense would be tested again before the end, and they would pass with flying colors. Final chance for Irondale on 4th and long. White looking for Price, but Caleb Ness flies in to swat it away. Ness had 12 tackles in the game to lead the defense. The Knights were averaging over 34 points a game. The Cardinals hold them to just 12, hand them their first loss while getting their 3rd win in a row. And that is a well-deserved homecoming celebration that ensued on the field.
I mean, how big was that stop on the 2-point conversion try? It was huge for that defense. And, both teams shot themselves in the foot many times. Either team had the opportunity. Irondale had plenty of opportunities to win this game. Cardinals came up big when it was needed most, and that play kind of really capped that off. That play by Ness in his evening with the 12 tackles. And
he was fantastic. A number of players we talk about on the defensive side of the ball, especially, who were just outstanding all over the field. They played extremely well. We knew going in, you had Aiden Price, who had over 300 yards, 6 touchdowns. You had Freiberg, who had over 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, Freiberg did get almost 140 yards.
Yep.
Price did have, I think, 6 catches for like 92, 94, something like that. So, I mean, those are nice numbers, but not well below their average. And the more important thing is the numbers at the end of the game on the board went in the Cardinals' favor. Now, I think, as you mentioned, both teams had opportunities and shot themselves in the foot. A lot of penalties in this game. Cardinals especially have to clean up the personal fouls. You cannot continue to be successful if you commit those penalties at those times. They were very fortunate to get away with it this past week. Got to clean it up moving forward.
Well, that second one really almost cost them a score, and they were fortunate that it didn't because, as you mentioned, those are the things you just got to be smart and play smart. I understand a hold, maybe to prevent a sack or something like that, but a personal infraction, you just can't do it.
Yeah, and there were a couple of them against the Cardinals, but again, they escape. And I think if you played these two teams 10 times, it could go 5-5. I mean, they were very, very close. There is a look at your updated standings. Armstrong beating Forest Lake this week to move to 2-0, but that was a very close game. So Armstrong slipping away with one, moving to 3-1, and the Cardinals also at 3-1. Hopkins and Forest Lake both still winless on the season. There's your remaining schedule. Now look at it. You got Armstrong at 3-1. Tipping the favor, it's in their favor a little bit, 82-68. But some very beatable teams there. An Armstrong team that's scoring a little over 20 points a game, but they're giving up a whole bunch. And then you got St. Louis or Spring Lake Park and Hopkins that have both given up over triple digits already.
Yeah, Spring Lake Park, of course, the game this week, 113 points in the 4 games. That's a lot of points to give up. Cardinals will be looking to capitalize on that defense.
Definitely want to be able to exploit it if possible, and it'll be fun run.
Yes, it will.
The rest of the way. We're halfway there already.
Yes, we are. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Tennis team will wrap up the regular season this week. Last week, a couple of matches in the Northwest Suburban. First against a very powerful Elk River squad, and the Cardinals are blanked against the Elks. Just a handful of wins across the board in the singles competitions, all going down in straight sets. It was straight sets victories top to bottom for the Elks in this one. But the Cardinals bounce back, and they finally get a win in one of those 4-3 very close contests. Machinsky and Spielbauer at second doubles. It came all the way down to them in a super tiebreak, and they win it 14-12. Coach Storick said that they didn't know. And Samet and Schmidt and Schrader also came up with a big 3-set win in doubles that helped the Cardinals get the victory. But it came down to that second doubles match, and he said Machinsky and Spielbauer did not know that they were the deciding
Probably
match.
a good thing.
Right, and that's what he said, is he's very glad they did not know, because that would have been added pressure. As it was, he said they played very well. They came from behind and win the 14-12 in a super tiebreak.
Nice to get that 4-3 win, be on the other side of the ledger this time.
Yeah, and again, a young team, a lot of character building this season, but those very close losses next year could come back to be a great benefit to them.
No question about it.
Cardinals have the Osseo Orioles at home on Wednesday. The 5AA team tournament starts next Tuesday.
Well, the volleyball team only had one match this past week, and we were there, Joe Young.
We were.
The Cardinals were on the road facing conference rival Anoka on Tuesday. The Tornadoes struggled to start the season, but were coming off 5 straight wins at a tournament the previous weekend. So they had some confidence momentum coming in. Cardinals would have to keep them close to have a chance. Coon Rapids struggling to find a rhythm in the first set. Anoka very strong on the serve receive. They have a lot of options this point. Set short, middle for Lily Shocknet. Tornadoes breeze to the big lead early in the first. Cardinals keep the score respectable, but Anoka leads throughout, getting offense from all parts of the floor. Power kill there by Lindsey Sutton. Tornadoes to a 25-16 win in the first. Coon Rapids playing better all over the floor in the second set. Good defensive effort keeps Anoka from getting a strong attack. Then they turn it quickly to their left side, quickly, and senior Ellie Hinsey delivers the kill. Roles almost completely reversed in this one. The Cardinals get the big lead and controlled the scoreboard throughout. Emma Wright with the spike to the back of the line. Cardinals even the match with a 25-16 win of their own. Unfortunately, coming up, they weren't able to carry any momentum in the third. Anoka scored the first 8 points. Cardinals got back within a couple midway, but the Tornadoes slammed the door with kills like this from Carly Burnett. They take a 2-run lead and win 25-13 in the third. Cardinals trying to force a fifth and final. Great anticipation by Paige Foslin, stuffing the weak pass at the net. It's a tight match throughout. The end, though, it's Anoka that has more plays going in their favor. Burnett getting up to this one on the finish. This one, Tornadoes squeak it out 25-23 to get the win in 4.
Yeah, the first opportunity we had to see them against conference leading Elk River, certainly outmatched.
Yep.
During parts of this match, you felt like Anoka was really the controlling and dominant team, but at other times, the Cardinals were playing right with them, playing better without stress.
Well, and that's the thing, and the fact that they were able to make the games a little more competitive and get that one win. Obviously, you know, they look to expand on that as they continue the season. That's something that was very important to them, to make it closer than the matches have been previously.
Well, and they've got a couple of chances this week to get one of those precious 5-set victories, and perhaps one in the conference even. Over the weekend, the Cardinals did find a little more success at the Chanhassen Invitational. They beat the host Hawks in the first round, they lost to the host Hawks in the first round, 25-19, 25-23. But they came from behind after losing the first set to Cambridge Isani. They beat the Blue Jackets 25-15, 16-14. They followed that with a 3-set win over Alexandria in 3 very close sets. And then they lose to Waconia, a little lopsided in that one, 25-16 and 25-4. And as I was mentioning, a couple of opponents for the Cardinals this week that could give them an opportunity to get that first conference win. They host Centennial on Tuesday, and Howie?
We'll be there.
And they are at Irondale on Thursday. Well, the swimming and diving team went up against one of the top teams in the section in their only dual meet last week. The Cardinals know that they don't have the depth to compete with Centennial, at least not yet. Coon Rapids is full of talent, but they're very young. So when they go up against teams like the Cougars, they know it's not about the final score, but it's about how they compete and the experience that they're gaining. Cardinals leaders still able to grab some great finishes. No surprise really to see Megan Schultz have another strong showing. She takes first place in the 50 free, a season best time of 25.95 seconds. 8th grader Ella Hacker chasing all of Schultz's middle school records. Hacker with a personal best in the 100 fly. It's a second place finish, but the 104.12 moves her into 3rd place in middle school history behind Schultz and Sam Starkey. Tamala King with a season best time in the 100 free against Centennial, and she needed it. Great push at the finish, good reach, gets her the win by less than a 1/10 of a second. 58.69 seconds her tag up time. Schultz did win both of her individual events. She took the 100 breaststroke relatively easily with a 1 minute 11.27 second time. A lot of Cardinals second and third finishers improved their times as well, but Centennial floats away with a 103-74 win, and that's the key really. It's getting those depth wins, getting the 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place finishes, and right now that second level of Cardinals is still so young and up and coming. When they're able to fill in and as they get stronger and more experienced, the Cardinals will be on the other end of the ledger, no doubt.
Well, and all these matches are about improving your times and getting better and competing, and I think that's what Coach Donaldson is saying to us, that he sees that from his squad. You know, you swim against some of the best, and you just hope to do your best and put in a good showing, and I think that's what his girls did.
Well, and Coach Donaldson in his latest email did say that maybe his girls were a little bit tired after all the hoopla for the big football victory on Friday night, all the excitement surrounding homecoming, and then they go to a meet down at the University of Minnesota. But, you know, they actually placed pretty well, 10th place, so they're right in the middle of the pack for the Invitational down at the Aquatic Center. Tamala King in 11th place finish in the 200 free. Megan Schultz, 4th place in the 200 IM, 1st place in the 100 fly. Ella Hacker finished 6th place in the 100 fly. Tamala King was 9th place in the 500 free. The 200 free relay team just cracked the top 10, and the 400 free relay team finished 8th place. The Cardinals are at Spring Lake Park on Tuesday and at Osseo on Thursday. So a couple of meets in the conference against some of those other teams that are in the lower tier with them.
And exactly, good competition for them, no question.
Should help, again, looking to build that confidence. Cross-country team, just one event this past week, but it's a big one. Also at the University of Minnesota, the Roy Griak Invitational is the largest cross-country event in the upper Midwest, has teams from all over the country that come to compete in this. The boys team finished in 39th place. Paul Breitbach, the top finisher, in 66th, finishing in 17 minutes, 35 seconds. Reed Smith was the next Cardinal. Nick Jorgensen behind him, then Christensen and Logan Rotzine rounds out the top 5 to plant the team score. Girls team competing in the Maroon division, able to finish 23rd place over there. Sarah Eichstad, the fastest finisher, in 52nd place. Allie Hedlund cracked the top 100, getting in 98th place in just under in 13:45. Abby Ellenbecker was 130th, Julie Hedlund 194th, and Olivia Ellenbecker finished in 212th place. The cross-country teams are off all week, but they have another big invitational coming up on Saturday. They will be in Wilmer for that event. And then possibly my favorite event name of all time, the Thundering Royal Elk event
Gotta like that.
Invite is next Thursday. Thundering Royal Elk Invite.
Are we invited?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It may be a +1 situation.
I'll bring you if I am.
Awesome.
No problem.
Awesome.
It's a date.
All right, boys soccer team. Last Monday, as we were doing our show on a Monday,
Hey.
for the first time, hey, this is 2 weeks in a row.
Woohoo, on a roll.
We're on a streak, getting the show on the right night. While we were here, the boys soccer team was at their home stadium hosting the Osseo Orioles, and the Cardinals went dead even in the Battle of the Birds, tying Osseo 1-1. Gael Tambwe with the goal. Siniachi had the assist, and Andrew LePage made 7 saves in the 1-1 tie.
Well, the Cardinals had a little break before their next action, 4 days off before hosting Champlin Park on Saturday. 2 teams with similar records. The Rebels 1 game over 500, the Cardinals 1 game below. The Rebels had lost 2 in a row, the Cardinals lost 2 straight and were coming off a tie. Both were fighting hard to get that winning feeling back. Cardinals looking for a fast start on their home field, and they get it with the only tally of the opening half. Long through ball from Amir Begic. Gael Tambwe sprints behind the defenders and angles it past the charging keeper. Coon Rapids has the 1-0 lead. That's number 11 for him on the season. Cardinals threatening to add in the second half. Off the corner kick, great read by Dimitri Tkach, splitting defenders and getting off a good shot. But the keeper is there for the save, and it stays 1-goal game. Another great opportunity for Coon Rapids. Gael able to get behind the defender. He's taken out by the slide tackle. No foul called, so the game goes on. Should have been a foul. Champlin free kick in the match. Perfectly lofted ball to the near side. Noah Azira Mobera runs in on it, heads it to the far side. No matter who you're cheering for, it doesn't get much prettier than that. Rebels take on the momentum into the extra period on the corner kick. Watch for the effort from Ethan Mosier, helping out his keeper. First the header, then the clear. Great play by the senior captain. This one ends in another tie for the Cardinals, 1-1. They would have liked to have gotten the win there, but unfortunately they could not.
Andrew LePage needs to buy Ethan Mosier a
soda,
a Subway, or a burger or something, because, wow. to be in the right place to make the header and then also get to the clear to keep that a tie. That was great. And I know I didn't see any contact with the ball. I don't understand how that wasn't called. Should have been a PK, but
however,
what do I know? Cardinals are at Irondale on Tuesday. They will be back home to host the Centennial Cougars on Thursday. Girls soccer team, little busier schedule than the boys. They also started out at home on Monday, taking on the Osseo Orioles. They lose that one 3-0. They follow that up by going north to take on Duluth East on Tuesday. They lose to the Greyhounds by a 2-0 score. Well, the girls were back home on Saturday taking on conference rival Champlin Park. This is a tough team to face if you're struggling the way the Cardinals are. The Rebels have a lot of firepower, and they like to score in bunches. They had won 4 in a row before losing their last match to Totino, so they came in looking for a bounce-back game. Rebels ratcheting up the pressure early, bringing speed and numbers. Keeper Mackenzie Langenfeld out to challenge, but it's tapped away from her. Alexandra Lotz has lots of net to shoot at. She puts it home, and Champlin has the 1-0 lead. Cardinals looking for the answer. Caitlin Ackerman showing off the skills on the throw-in. Courtney can't control. Maddie Bloomquist gets off a high lofting shot. Keeper's able to corral it before it gets over and in. Still in the first half, pretty play from the Rebels off the free kick. Lotz heads it to the middle. Haley William heads it again. Alexa Grimm there for the finish. Champlin Park on top by a pair at the half. And they didn't let up in the second. Like I said, they like to score in bunches, and relentless pressure always pays off. This time it's Amber Nichols cashing in. That pushed the lead to 3 midway through the second. They add one more. Alexandra Lotz one more time. Great job using the field to find herself some space, and then launches a rocket to the upper corner. No chance for Langenfeld. Champlin Park cruises to the 4-0 win.
That was a pretty goal.
It was, and a couple of pretty goals.
Yep.
In those highlights, and unfortunately, a couple of really pretty goals for the opposition.
Yeah, a tough stretch for the Cardinals. 3 games in a row, they haven't been able to score a goal, and you know that's gotta have that squad scratching their head a little bit, and they need to figure out a way to maybe try and get that offense going.
Yeah, and they will hope to find the answer to that riddle on Tuesday when they travel to take on the Irondale Knights. They'll be back home against Centennial on Thursday. Cougars usually one of those teams towards the top of the pack that makes it very difficult for a team that is already struggling. And as we've talked about so often, and we talked about in football, confidence is such a big piece of winning. And when you're down, it's hard to get that confidence that you can get over the hump.
Well, especially with this program, it's been a winning program in the past, and so for them to struggle the way they have, especially without their offense just basically not being able to put a ball in the back of the net, that's got to bother them a little bit too. But it's a new regime. There's been a coach here for a long time, and now there's a new coach taking over the program. It's going to take a little while to. I know he's taking some of Coach DeJoy's things and he's continuing to use them, but he's also bringing some things of his own in as well.
Well, and they're hoping that they can get it figured out at the right time. Yep. Of course, you'd love to win all the way through the season, but when it really matters is come the end of the year, and you throw the records out the window when the playoffs start. Cardinals do still have a couple of weeks to get ready for when the games matter the most. Every game matters most to the crew here at CTN, and these are the games that are going to matter most to us over the next couple of weeks. On Tuesday the 26th, live volleyball against the Centennial Cougars starting at 7 o'clock. And football back on the road to take on the Panthers from Spring Lake Park. Can the Cardinals make it 4 in a row? Tune in and you will find out.
It's an early start, 5 o'clock, not 7.
Correct. And then on Tuesday the 3rd, our next chance to see a soccer doubleheader as the Cardinals host the Maple Grove Crimson. But that is going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Continue to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including the distraction behind the camera known as Brandon Rickard, and my favorite person, Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young, saying good night.